Hello and welcome to this edition of 401k and Beyond. Wanted to put together this video. It's a question I get quite a bit about how to find a financial advisor, but more specifically, how to find a financial advisor on a budget. I know a lot of times when you're out searching, you'll see financial advisors with really large minimums, which are a tough hurdle to get over, or a lot of times you'll see a large flat fee that's really a tough nugget for a lot of people to shell out for financial advice. So I wanted to look at three ways, maybe even four if we get into one at the end here. Three ways in which people can find financial advice and maybe they've never even thought about, or some new business models that have come out in the last few years. Certainly, since COVID, and there's been a lot more virtual advice that's been available, some different groups and things like that. So I wanted to walk through some of the things that I'm seeing that are great ways for people who were just getting started on their financial journey to access the advice and planning that they need without facing large barriers to entry. So the first thing is through the workplace. What's happened over the last couple of years as there's been some financial advisors who are working through financial wellness programs at work, but but over the last couple of years we haven't been able to get out and do some of the group meetings. Obviously now they're starting to come back a little bit, but the service level through workplace financial wellness programs just continues to keep ratcheting up. And what I mean by that is, a long time ago when I first started in workplace retirement accounts, what would happen is you'd go into, kind of parachute into the business once a year, and you'd get up there and you'd say, here are your funds, here's how you should invest. And you do a large group meeting, and maybe that'd be it. Sometimes you might stick around for some one-on-one sessions, but really there wasn't much more than that. But what we've seen lately is a deeper relationship with employees. Why? Because it's really in the best interest of everybody, right? Employers want to add that benefit. They want their employees to feel like there's more of a connection to the business, and that's a great way to offer an additional benefit. We've seen advisors really want to deepen those relationships, right? So that when the employees leave, you got people changing jobs every 3 or 4 years. They want to retain that relationship and retain that client. And it's also in the best interest of the employees because now they're able to access something. You think about other group benefits. The reason you have group benefits is because you have that large purchasing power. Instead of going out and getting, maybe health insurance on your own or some sort of disability or life insurance, you might have a group policy that gives you advantageous pricing. So you're seeing that now through financial wellness programs through work. So one of the things as I was putting together this outline, I want to stay away from some of the absolutes and say, this is absolutely the right way advisors should be charging and servicing, and stay out of that. What I want to look at things more of kind of a spectrum of service, because really there is no A and B, right or wrong. There's a large spectrum in which advisors can charge and provide services. So in the 401k world, in the workplace world, the minimal amount of service, what you'll see sometimes is what's called a 338 relationship. And that is where an advisory firm or an advisor will choose the investment lineup for the plans. Really, they're just working at the plan level, right? So they're helping the business owner, the HR staff, putting together the investment level, providing the reporting, and taking the fiduciary responsibility for picking the investments for the company. For a 338 only advisor, they're not providing any employee level service. And not that that's right or wrong. They're charging a very small fee for that. It's usually 3, 5, 8 basis points maybe. So when I say basis points, it's hundreds of a percent. So really small. That's a relationship that's sometimes just kind of an add-on service, but there's no participant level services there. So that'd be at the far end of the really low fee, low participant level service is just that 338, really no participant service there. On the other end, you'll see some businesses are really offering full one-on-one financial planning services. So that's estate planning. That could be the investment planning with the 401k included, all those type of things, budgeting, cash flow, really those education meetings like we talked about at the group level, the one-on-one sessions. And then there's also probably some sessions, after hours, maybe some one-on-one stuff through Zoom. So you have that huge spectrum of fees and services. So If you've just started a job, ask about those fees, and the service, of course. Ask about what's available through your plan. A lot of times, if you've got a really good advisor through the workplace, you wouldn't need to go out and hire somebody on the outside. What I don't want to see happen is somebody go out and start a financial planning or investment management relationship if they've already got that through the workplace. And you might already be paying for it, so you don't want to pay double, or even more so, maybe your employer is paying for that and has that there for you as a benefit. So it's really important that you take advantage of that. So as I mentioned that, you might think that's only for larger organizations or with hundreds of or thousands of employees, but really you're seeing that at both ends of the spectrum there. Small businesses, a lot of times they'll want to add this financial planning or workplace financial wellness because the business owner wants to pay for that advice through the business. So he's offering it to the business owner and their family, but also to all the employees because it's a business deduction, and he wants to offer that through the workplace rather than have to pay for that on the outside. And the larger organizations too, you're able to see them buy this financial planning or workplace financial wellness in bulk. So if they've got thousands or hundreds, thousands of employees, they can provide that service. So don't think that just because you're at a small business that maybe that's not available to you. Just ask, it might be available to you. And like I said, the changes over the last couple of years are been a little bit weird because you've had advisors in the workplace world really ratcheting up the level of services, but at the same time, they haven't necessarily been out there in the field to communicate that. And you could do email and Zooms, but there's still, in my opinion, nothing better than being out in front of a group of people in the break room and having those conversations. So it's been a challenge to communicate that to the employees. So again, I would encourage you, ask what's available through your workplace. It might just be something that's online. It might be something virtual. It might be something that's available one-on-one to come out and have those conversations. Another business model that's relatively new is a subscription base, and I know I'm throwing hourly in here as well, but subscription base would be something where you're paying, a small monthly fee over the course of time, and it might be something where, let's say you're in your early 20s, you don't need massive amounts of planning because your life is going to change so much. So you might be able to get into some subscription based where, for the price of, Netflix and Hulu combined, maybe you can, get a virtual service, maybe one-on-one. You're seeing a lot more group sessions too. So maybe you have 15 minutes, 20 minutes every month with an advisor, but you're also invited to some of these group sessions where you can join, 10 other people who are part of the program and have sort of a group session. And that's a way for an advisor to do the one-to-many model, right? You can have the conversation with 8 or 10 people at once, and you can have those conversations with people with a little bit smaller balances or maybe who can't pay those large financial planning fees. Hourly, I have this in this slide too, but that might be something where you have a specific need. And even though you might want full financial planning and a $10,000 plan might be great for you, maybe there's just one specific item where you say, I really just need help with this. Maybe you got an inheritance, or maybe you're trying to save to buy a house and you really want to focus on that. You might be able to reach out to a planner and say, hey, you know what, let me just buy an hour of your time. Let me buy, an hour here and then an hour next month. And really, you can kind of piece it together yourself. So it's kind of like a subscription, and that you might pay a little bit less over time, but you have that advisor available to you. So the hourly, the group sessions, and paying a monthly subscription are kind of some of the newer fee models that are around. So you might want to look into that if you're looking to get through things on a budget. This one, this asset-based fees have kind of gotten beat up a little bit, and I get it. The whole idea is if somebody has $2 million, they shouldn't pay twice as much as $1 million. Somebody with 1 million, because they're basically getting, the same service, and just because their balance is twice as much, they shouldn't pay twice as much. That's an oversimplified explanation. But sometimes with these asset-based planners, yes, they'll have minimums, so you might not be able to get in, but they might have stated minimums on their website. So they might say, our minimum asset size is 500,000. But if you reach out to them, you might say, hey, here's my situation. Maybe I'm a higher income earner. I might get there. Or maybe I'm a really good saver and I'll get there over time. So a lot of times, even though these advisors have an advertised minimum on their website, they still might be interested in working with you if they feel like there's a good connection. They feel you might be a good client. So even if their minimum is 250 and you've got 100,000, and you can say, hey, listen, in 5 years I'm going to get there, but you've got a good reputation here locally, that might be something you want to look into. What you do want to watch out for there is the other side of that. Once your assets really start to grow, you don't want to have to fire your advisor because you don't think the fees are appropriate, but you want to make sure that if you like that advisor, you're getting the services that are appropriate for the fee that you're paying. So that advisor might let you in early and might be making a little bit of sacrifice for you, but then in 20 years, if you got $10 million, you want to make sure you're still paying the appropriate fee. So keep an eye on asset growth there. That's why I have it twice on there. Must be important. So that's what I wanted to get into, is those issues with finding financial planning for folks that don't have large asset sizes. So you want to, first of all, see what's available through work, because you might be already paying for it. You want to look at maybe some subscription-based programs, some hourly, or some type of group sessions that might be okay for just some general education. You might not want to give your full financial picture in a group session. And then third, maybe reach out to some asset-based advisors who might keep a pocket of their book where they're willing to help some people with a little bit less assets in the bank. So again, my name is Brian Williams from Northshire Consulting. I run this group, the 401k and Beyond group, and the YouTube channel. If you have any questions, you can post the comments here, and I'll try to reach out to you and answer those questions. Thanks.